Trishan, for those who are new to the room. I am a little nervous and I do not have the power of brevity, right? I can talk a lot and ramble, so I'm gonna do my best. I think I erred on the side of caution to just make sure that I said less. So, where to begin? I came to yoga, it feels like many lifetimes ago, but I was actually like an 8-month pregnant woman who had a little bit of neck pain that would not go away, and a friend gave me a gift certificate for a yoga session, or like 3 yoga sessions. And I had been given this medication for the neck pain, and I took it once and I was like high, and I was like, this cannot be good for the baby. This feels good for me, but this cannot be good for the baby. I want some alternatives. And I got this gift certificate and I went to the class. And within, I would say, about 3 minutes of being in a posture, I had no neck pain. And there are no words, so I'm gesticulating that, there was just something incredible that happened, and I wanted to experience that for the rest of my life in 5 minutes. And so that's pretty much what I did, and what I have been doing. But that is to say, I feel that since then my life has been about yoga. My life, not just as a practice or something that I'm doing or a profession, but that I have really somehow, my whole life is sort of soaked and colored through these lens and with these practices, and it just keeps expanding into me and out of me. And I'm really, how am I going to try? Just hope, yeah. I'm really very grateful for that experience, right? So, to answer the question of why I came here, that just was sort of like, yay, opportunity to study more about yoga. And while I have done a little bit of studies around the Yoga Sutras, I've never done the full book. And I've also never really studied in Jamaica. Apart from my initial 200-hour, all my other studies have been abroad in different places. So it was just really nice for the Indian High Commission and to be able to be here and have this experience. And so I had to come. All right, so jumping in, I answered the questions very personally, which is probably why I'm a little hesitant in sharing, but I would like to speak from my heart, and hopefully your heart can receive me. So the first question was, which of the 8 limbs do I practice personally, and what developments I see? So I actually, having been asked this question, realized that I do practice all of the 8 limbs, or at least 7. And my sadhana practice, my daily practice, consists of a lot of, or a amalgamation of asana, pranayama, everything. And I have a very significant mantra practice as well. During different times of my life, the amount of what I'm doing changes. So I have practiced asana a whole lot less in more recent times, as I think I mentioned in one of the classes. But in terms of what developments I see within me, well, first of all, I think, asana practice really makes you kind of ageless, as you'll tell by the yoga teachers in the room, right? If you just look around, you'll know who they are. They're the ones glowing and looking lovely. But also, it all works together. That is to say that I think there were times when my own mind was working against me. There were times when I was significantly depressed. There were times when I was really struggling. For example, even during COVID, anxiety felt like it was just sitting on top of me, and there were a lot of things happening that I don't think there was any way through than through the body. There was no other, way for me to move through these things and through the body and through, my mantra practice and my subtle body practices really took on a whole different level during that time. And so the good thing about being here is that there's a new perspective. As we've been studying, there are things that I've already heard and already, known about, so to speak, but you hear them explained in a different way that has brought me like many light bulb moments. Which one of you am I to follow? I'll take yours since you came after. No, you said 5. You said 5. I'm working with you. So I will combine questions 1 and 3. So as for the yamas are going through the limbs that are most impactful, and the yamas for me, non-stealing, asteya, aparigraha, which is non-grasping. That is the everyone referred to it as, I think, non-greed, but the translation that is most resonant for me is non-grasping, because that is something that I personally have struggled with. I grasp onto things of the past, things that are not yet happened, things that I don't have control over. And so in coming to this course, it was an opportunity for me to remember and to really see myself truthfully and the fact that I was grasping as hell, like grasping to certain things that I needn't grasp anymore, because what? The self of the self, that self that is none of the things that would cause me to grasp to these other things, is really what the whole point is, right? To come to that self. And so I really appreciate coming to that space during these 10 weeks. The other thing that I can jump to real quick out of the yamas and niyamas is self-study. And that for me has been a big thing. There is a lot of training that I've done to teach other people, but in more recent years, I've done a lot of studies for my personal journey, like just because I love it, just because I can, just because I want to. And those studies have been the most impactful and the most far-reaching and have landed in a whole different place. And I think those studies perhaps have led to some of my powers, so to speak. And then the idea of contentment, I know we talk about it in terms of just being satisfied, satiated with what you have before you. And I agree with that. And there's also an aspect of contentment for me that involves a sort of reverence. So when I go into a space and I am tempted to, the chittas, they be real, and I'm tempted to focus on many other things about a situation, and there is sort of no, let me say that differently. When I'm in certain situations in my life, especially, around parenting, the things that are harder to do, those things that really push your boundaries, it's doing this course now has reminded me to seek out contentment, not to have it happen to you and you realize all the things that you're grateful for. That's lovely, but that it is something that I can deliberately go create and seek if I'm not readily able to access it in now, right? And that is something that that perspective, it's a very subtle thing, but I'd never seen it like that before, and so I appreciate that. All right, the things that I mean, 1 minute. It's gonna be the longest 1 minute of your life. So, I'm kidding, no. So, something that surprised me was about the samskaras. I asked about it a lot, perhaps much to balance stress, but it wasn't in the understanding of the samskaras, like a definition. It was really that it kind of blew my mind, and there is a quote. It blew my mind that your whole existence, even beyond a lifetime, is down to habits, repeated patterns. Blew my mind. So when we think about, and I want to find this particular, there was a quote that it's nowhere now. It's one of the translations, and it says, everything that we are is a result of habit. That gives us consolation, because if it is only habit, we can make and unmake it at any time. The samskara is left behind by these vibrations passing out of our mind, each of them leaving its result. Our character is the sum total of these marks, and as per some particular wave prevails, one takes tone. If good prevails, one becomes good. If wickedness prevails, one becomes wicked. If joyfulness prevails, one becomes happy. The only remedy for bad habits is to counter habits. And the idea that this takes you not just in one lifetime, but beyond and into the next is really something that I find incredible. And also it makes me feel like I could do anything. Like I literally can change so many of the things I thought I couldn't, right? Because they're down to habits. The other thing that blew my mind was that about the friendliness, the compassion, and that the final part of that verse says, or that sutra says, indifference to like the wicked, yes. Loosely translated. No one ever says that. People say that you should be compassionate towards the wicked, or be, or you know, strike the wicked. I never thought about how I could be indifferent and be equanimous in the face of watching ugly things happen and ugly people around me, to conserve my energy, to not get caught up in that. We watch people all the time, maybe even in this room, you know something about somebody, and you know something that's not good, and you will spend so much of your time focusing on that aspect of this person, and it comes with a lot of judgment, but it comes with a lot of energy. And so this really was a point for me to sort of, how can I attain this indifference towards wickedness, right? And like, what would that look like? And so I'm on that particular journey, I'm figuring it out, but I've been launched into answering that question. I'm going to go ahead and maybe stop now because I could go on. I think the best parts or the benefits of the course for me, someone else said it, was to really be, Simone said it, was to really be reminded that all you're getting is the self. And all the things that I keep thinking, I'm not even a yoga teacher, like I'm an integrative yoga therapist, yes, but I'm not even that, right? And so to really keep coming down to the seed and even beneath that, just to keep remembering that I'm not any of those things, and that I am so infinite and so much bigger and so much more than all the things I keep thinking, allows me to feel extremely empowered and amazingly just able to, well, expand beyond whatever boundaries I previously had set. And so I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I will take away, and hopefully it will stay with me. We'll need to come back for a refresher course. Yes. Yeah, and finally, thank you guys so much. I really think a big part of what made the course incredible was just the way you guys also hold space, listening to your presentations, how bright you are. I mean, it's been great, and Bala, you've been amazing. Thank you.